So coming on here today to talk about my growing up years being Amish and then going to Vegas while I was an Amish married man and my experiences and how it affected me. And my name is Glenn Beachy. I am 43 years old currently, and when I left home, I was 17 years old, left on very bad terms. That'll be another story for another time probably, but how that all transpired and how I was able to come through that and be a successful business owner today. And anyways, I stand here today. I'm here in Trump Tower filming this, and Las Vegas is here in the background. I'll turn the camera here in a minute so you can see the lights are on now, and the new Hilton Conrad Hotel is there in the background of me here. That's what you see on that lighting right there. I'll turn the camera here in a minute. And the reason I'm filming this here in Vegas is because I went to Vegas for my very first time in 2011, and it was a really crazy experience. And I'm going to be doing several sessions of the experience, several segments here of my experience going to Vegas and my life from 2011 until now. And it's been a wild ride. And anyway, so back to my train of thought here. I had left home at 17, started a business in 2000, and I had met up with this guy, fast forward a little bit, that was into roofing, and I was into roofing and construction, and I still am. And we're gonna call him Ninja Boy. He always said he's a ninja. He always said it was kind of his nickname. And Ninja Boy, I had met him, I don't know, probably in 2010 or 2009. And we did roofing projects together, we did sales together, and etc. We were friends, and we weren't just business friends. We were party friends. Like, we did a lot of partying. He was a major alcoholic. I was an alcoholic. We were both just crazy drunks, and during that time. And I hid a lot of my alcoholism during that time because I was married Amish with 4 children, and marriage was a shit show. And came to me one day with this idea, Ninja Boy. We're going to call him Ninja Boy. And he said that the other night he was in his friend's apartment, and he was hungry and he was drunk, and he wanted to get food, but he couldn't drive, and nobody was there to drive, and he didn't know who to call to get food. So he said, hey, I got this business idea. We're going to call it Go Getters, and we're going to do what basically DoorDash is now, or Uber. We were going to do that type of thing, and we were going to make this a big business. We were going to do it together. We had big plans, and it was his idea. Go Getters was going to be the name of it, like Go Getters, like go get stuff. Anyway, he came up with that name, and I bought into it. And several days later, a couple weeks later, we had some meetings, and everything, and we hired a lawyer to set up our LLCs and everything. I gave him $10,000. He didn't really have money per se, so he's using me to get the money to fund the business. That's where it gets really crazy later on in this story of me going to Vegas and all this crazy stuff. So anyway, he gave him $10,000 so that I would have a certain amount of shares in the business, and he made me promises, and up until now, we never really had any bad business dealings. So I kind of, went in here with trusting him. We were friends, and we had done business in the past. And anyway, so in 2011, we decided we're going to go to Vegas. Well, I say we. He decided he's going to take me to Vegas. I was an Amish married man at the time, and he wanted to show me the world. Okay, the world. Go to Sin City and show me the world, right? Never been to Vegas in my life. Never even had really kind of a clue of how it looked. Of course, I had somewhat of an idea just from hearsay. Anyway, I thought, okay, this is going to be a crazy trip, because I was going back a little bit. In the Amish church, I was usually in trouble if the day ended in Y. Yeah, that's right. I was usually in trouble. in church in one way or another, in the Amish church. And if I wasn't in trouble, I would go create trouble. It would find me somehow. Either it would find me or I'd go create it. Anyway, so we drove to Vegas in a Hummer. Me and Ninja Boy and Oscar. We're going to call the other guy Oscar. He, not their real names for the sake of the filming here. And we drove to Vegas in a Hummer, in an H2 Hummer. Drove straight through 24 hours. Craziest experience, one of the craziest experiences I've ever had in my entire life. We come up over this hill when we get close to Vegas, and it was after dark, it was like 10:30 at night. Come up over this hill, and I look up out through the windshield there. I was in the back seat laying down, and they said, "Hey, there's the lights of Vegas." And so I sat up and looked out, and I'm like, OMG. I've never seen anything like this in my entire life. I had never really traveled the world much, or even the US, like much at all at that point in my life. Had been to several states. Anyway, come up over this hill and I see the lights of Vegas, and I mean, I was like, oh my God, what the heck is that? Oh my gosh, okay, that's that, okay, I get it, all right. Anyway, so we go bar hopping, you know, what you do in Vegas, whatever, you know, we went partying on the streets. We went and loaded up our big ice chest full of alcohol and each had a drink, just cruising the strips, you know, cruising the strips of Vegas, cruising the streets of Vegas, going, just doing the party life. And going from one casino to the next, went to bed at 2:30 in the morning, that morning, I believe, and stayed in Vegas for a couple days to kind of speed this process up. It was anyway, to go back a little bit, he had told me that we need to go to Vegas and then go on to San Diego, California, to meet his friend that has money, so he can invest into our business plan. That's for later on. I'll give you details on how that all went and transpired and everything like that when we went to San Diego, California. Craziest time of my life. Anyway, so we stayed in Vegas for 2 or 3 days, and then we drove to the Hoover Dam on the way to San Diego, California, a couple days later. And at this point, my mind was like this. And from being in Vegas for a couple days, the things the things that you've seen as an Amish man. Anyway, so drove to the Hoover Dam, checked it out, drove on to San Diego, California several days later. At this point in time, a couple days into this trip, I figured out that this $10,000 that I had given him for the Go-Getters delivery, food delivery, etc., delivery business that we were going to start was what was funding our Vegas trip. I figured this out like a day or two into the trip, that the $10,000 in cash that I had gone to my safe, this was my life savings at this point in my life, in 2011, mind you. And I had 4 children. I was a broke, joke, alcoholic, not a good person at that point in my life. And I had given him this $10,000 anyway, and I figured out, oh, you kidnapped me and my money. This is what I was starting to think. Like, okay, I'm basically kidnapped in Vegas with this moron that had fed me a bunch of lies. Up until now, I had known him for several years, never done anything bad to me. He was always a good person. And, wow, how am I going to get out of this? This is getting deep really fast, really fast. It's escalating out of control. I'll get home and I'll be dead meat with my wife. My marriage was already crap before I left, and I had promised my wife in probably about 6 months before that. or so that I would stop drinking because we had moved to a new property in central Illinois. We had moved to a new property. And I told her when we moved to this new house, I'll change my ways, I'll change my life. I'll stop drinking, I'll stop being a womanizer and all these things that I was. And well, lo and behold, you don't say that, and then 6 months later tell her, hey, you know what? I don't even know if it was 6 months, 5 or 6 months later. Anyway, it was a while. It wasn't really all that long later, really, that we went to Vegas. I came to her and I said, well, we're going to go to Vegas because Ninja Boy says that we got to go out and go to Vegas and then go into San Diego, California and meet our business partner that's going to invest in our business. Oh, well, I see. So, promising my wife that I was going to be a better person? Wow, that was really cool. Yeah. So anyway, then this kept escalating. The lies kept coming out. What he really was planning to do. He was planning on wasting my whole entire $10,000 that I'd given him on this trip, and that is exactly what happened. And as I continue, I'll explain how it all transpired. And he's no longer alive now. And this is like my 4th or 5th time in Vegas now. And anyway, I'll explain that later, what his death was. It was very horrible. And I get emotional talking about it. I was emotional today as I was preparing myself to film this. I told my wife, I said, I don't know if I can do this. I've been wanting to do it for a really long time, and now here I am in Vegas. And speaking of, let's take a look here at you can see the lights. Yeah, there's the football. It's going to be Super Bowl Sunday, this Sunday here. Anyway, there's a little bit of a view. There's the new Conrad Hilton Crockford's Hotel right there. I don't know, can you see it there? Not. Anyway, so I lost my train of thought here, but the lies kept coming out. And by the way, this shirt here, never give up. That's my message also, is if I would have given up on life when I wanted to, after this Vegas trip, I was in a bad place. My life savings was gone. My business was not in a good place. I was depressed. I was upset. I was not good. Anyway, so we drove to San Diego, and the lies kept escalating out of control. But what was I going to do? I was stuck. I had never been on an airplane ride myself, so I couldn't necessarily just go get a plane ticket and fly back home. I didn't know the first thing about getting an airplane ticket to go back home. I was freaked out, to say the least. With these two party animals, the other guy, Oscar, that I'm calling Oscar, he was a very, wow. I'm not sure how to say. There was just a lot of partying going on amongst the three of us. Anyway, a lot of lies, just lying and not no integrity. And it taught me to a whole new level the importance of integrity. Do what you say and be authentic and be a man of your word. That's rare, by the way, this day and age in 2024. Like, wow, so sad. But how do we change that? How we change that is we as men rise up and never give up. So, going back to when we got to San Diego, we met his friend that supposedly had money. Well, he did have money, but what he had not told me is that his friend was not planning on investing into our business. He wanted to talk to us about our business ideas, but he was not ready to write the check like I had been told. At this point in time, remember now, the money, the $10,000 that came from me was diminishing really quick. So anyway, I'm going to end the video here, and my next video, I will go into details what happened after we met the guy in California that had money, but he wasn't ready to write a check because Ninja Boy had lied to me. It gets deeper. It gets way deeper. And I'll get into that in the next segment. It's emotional as I stand here. It's hard for me to keep my train of thought. Anyway, I will see you at the next video, and I will continue this crazy story of being Amish, going to Vegas, and then going to San Diego, California. Oh, and so we started, one more thing. So we went to hookah bars, went bar hopping to hookah bars in San Diego, you know, where you have these big old bongs that are like 4 foot tall, 3-4 foot tall, and these pipes coming out, and I'm like, what is this? Oh my MG, like what, okay, all right, this is, out of my realm. I've never seen anything like this in my entire life. See you on the next video, and in the meantime, stay authentic, be different, and be resilient. And never give up on yourself or on your goals. This story gets deep. You think it's deep now? Wait. Oh, and I'll show you what the back of my shirt says here. See if I can get it to be clear here. Be authentic, be different, be resilient. What is your destiny? See you on the next video.